Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider. You have found PRI here in Westwego at Moe's Pizza. What a great place this is, I will guarantee you that. I'm Rick Ailey, the head coach of PRI, here along with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nato, and we are so happy and pleased to be joined today for the 5th year. Coach Corey Lambert, the head coach of the Ehret Patriots, along with his quarterback, young sophomore Travis Mumphrey Jr. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today on PRI.
Thank you, Coach.
Corey, got to ask you, first year out of the box, 0-9, then 8-2, then 9-1, then a 12-3 season last year. You're at the Superdome banging on the door. It's been a steady progress, and you're right on track where you want to be. The next step is through that door, though.
Well, I tell you, hat goes off to the support I have with number one, our board member, Ray St. Pierre, was a great mentor to me, and also the faculty. My principal was Landry, my AD, Ms. Smith, Sheena Smith, and the faculty and staff at John Ehret. They're 100%, and most important, I couldn't do none of this stuff without the help of my wife. And these coaches I have, my coaching staff has been with me for, this is our 3rd year now together, complete staff. Probably the best staff I've had since I've been the head coach. It took some time. You had to get some of those things together. You had to get a staff together. And then, those guys holding the kids accountable. I mean, I tell you, in these last 2 weeks, I don't think I called one play offensively or one play defensively or one special team. Those guys have done a tremendous job. All the guys I have on the staff, and, the O-line have gotten an award for Friday Night Football. Actually, people don't realize a lot of those guys, like Brian Creighton and his defensive coordinator, Jawin Caesar, Dominique Lambert, those guys are all Ehret alumni, and I coached those guys at John Ehret. Clint Harrison was an ex-head coach. He was offensive coordinator, did a tremendous job. Coach Dell Lee, John Shepard, it's an ex-Ehret alumni, Antoine Prince and those guys. And we got another alumni, Trey Russell, who does a good job. People think that we run up-tempo offense. That guy signals and things like that. And those guys got a good relationship with the kids. And, this program have come from 0-9, but I think the 0-9 year we was in a lot of games. It's just that those guys just had to believe in the system and the new things that we were bringing to the table, and now they do.
Travis, you're in a position as only a sophomore, starter, and you look back at the history of quarterbacks at John Ehret and Cordell Stewart and Corey Lambert and Leonard Valentine and Webster Garrison, Tyrone Mitchell, and Karan Baham.
Yeah.
Man, you stepping into a spot that's been held by some pretty elite talent. What does that mean to you?
It's real special to me because I feel like I can live up to what they did and even try to be better than my coach. He always pushes me to work hard at practice, tell me things I do wrong a lot so I can be better for the future and elaborate on my skills.
Okay.
Well, Coach Lambert has set a very high standard back when he was the size of a quarterback. Now, maybe you're going to see that you're going to grow out to be a linebacker one of these days. But, Corey, you had a very distinguished career at Ehret back in the glory days. There is a lot of tradition. You mentioned Ray St. Pierre, and we're mentioning several other players. I think, really, out of all the West Bank schools, but Ehret has and stands more on their tradition than just about anybody else. Talk about that great tradition of Ehret football, not just on the football field, but as becoming responsible young men.
Well, I tell you, it started way back for me. I probably was like 10 years old, 9 years old, back in '85. I used to watch guys like Brett Jackson and John Shep, who's not my coach now. Brett coaches at Higgins. Brett also coached with me at Ehret before. Coach Ray St. Pierre was not just a coach; he was also my math teacher, and Todd Navarre and all those guys. My mom worked at the school; she was a custodian. My grandfather was the head custodian. My uncle was the head engineer on campus. So, Ehret, I tell anybody, Ehret is the most diverse school in the state of Louisiana. All ethnic backgrounds. If you can go to Ehret, you'll be ready for the real world, and you also be ready for college and things like that. It's about 2,300 kids. When I went, it's like 3,400 kids. So it's the biggest school. It's one of the biggest schools when I went. But the tradition is just, we got a lot of, now you really see it, that we're putting this program back where it needs to be. You're seeing everybody come back and wanting to help, wanting to watch these kids, watch these young men develop, even on Saturdays. Right now we got about 12, 13 kids we watch from LSU, Arkansas, Arizona, all these schools, Troy State, Southern Miss, with all those guys, all these guys are playing college ball. And that's from 5 years ago. We got all those guys on Saturdays we watching, and it's just special because it's bigger than football. They're going to get degrees, and they're going to be positive young men in society.
And you literally grew up on the campus.
Yes, I did.
Some people just say that,
Yes,
but
I did.
you actually did. That's
Yes.
tremendous. So, Travis, you've had to take on more responsibility. Back up last year, but you still threw 10 touchdown passes, I believe. Tell us about your game. Tell us about what you do the best as far as your game and leading your team.
My greatest aspect of the game, I think, is me passing the ball. But now in the offense I'm in right now, it's like a run or pass. So I have to elevate my game, try to get better. And I think that my coach helped me with that. And running the ball this week, my old line really helped. Had a big deal with that.
Yep, and you have a responsibility in the running game because you got to make sure somebody takes you.
Right.
And that is a big part of the shotgun running game because the defense doesn't have that extra defender.
Right.
That you've got to make somebody take you. So you've got, even if you give the ball, you've got to make sure you're bootlegging opposite of making something, make a defender come get you, don't you?
Yes.
It's not just hand the ball off and go watch him. Say giddy up, is it?
No.
You had a good week last week. In fact, in 2 games against East St. John, which is an outstanding program, in 2 years. Last year, your first start, 669 total yards, 378 passing, 291 running, and 6 total touchdowns. You had 4 touchdowns last week. But you do things very well, as Coach Gailey just said. But the thing that stands out about with me is that you take things, you're a very cerebral kind of guy, and you take academics, very important. It's very important to you.
Yeah.
You have a 4.0. Why is academics so important to you?
Well, my parents always push me to do good in school because they say without academics, I won't be anything in life. So I work real hard with my academics. And my parents, they really push me. So therefore, I have to work hard in the classroom all the time.
Now, Corey, you've been around this a long time in recruiting and things like that. You do have a lot of players that are being recruited and some that are playing on the next level now.
Yep.
How close do you stay to this? Because you went through the process when you got out of Ehret. How close do you stay to the decision-making process?
Well, I'll tell you, I tell all the kids and I tell the parents, I don't get involved in them making their decision. I just give an opinion and I give what I think for the kids. It's ultimately the parent and the kid's decision because that kid has to live there and that parent has to provide to be able to go see their kid wherever their kids are at. I just give an opinion, but I'm very involved. I'm also very involved when they even go there, and I'm still involved. So once you become a student at John Ehret and become an athlete, you're ours for life. So we stay involved. They can call me anytime, good or bad. We'll work things out, but the ultimate decision is that kid and the parent's decision.
And you have to stay involved because if you're not, somebody else will.
Somebody else will.
And you can't let the street agent, so to speak,
That's right.
get in the way. That's a crusade of mine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, against the street agents.
Yes, sir.
Last year you got caught short a little bit depth-wise,
Yep.
and that really showed up against Zachary. But every year you've had more and more kids involved in the program, and that's something of great pride. And after seeing you in the West Bank Optimist Jamboree in this last minute, I think you're a better team, or you have a chance to be a better team because of your depth. You got more kids involved in the program. Talk about the growth numerically from when you started all the way up to where you've got more participating now than ever.
Well, I'll tell you, when we first started, I used to try to double space the roster. We had about 38 to 40 kids that first year, and we didn't have the depth. Not only just the depth, you had a lot of kids not believing, and I'm not gonna say believing. It was just they were used to it a certain way, and it just needed to be a change. And not that Billy didn't do a good job, because a lot of things I've learned in coaching, I've learned from under Billy, and those guys did a great job. But it was time for some change, and time to go in another direction. And those kids wasn't ready for it also. But last year we used to dress out 50 kids. We probably had about 70 something total. In the program. I don't dress out everybody. I think it needs to be a privilege. And this year we're dressing out 65, but we also got 45 that just played freshmen, and we got about 110 kids, 105 kids total in the total program. So the depth is important. We got like 2 or 3 deep at every position, and it's quality depth. And that helps out a lot. Well, we used to rotate a lot of guys, but now, right now, just the D-line, we got 10 guys we rotate at 3 spots, So, and we got 4 running backs instead of 1 or 2. So it helps.
Yes, it does. That's Coach Corey Lambert of the John Ehret Patriots talking about the great development in his program. Believe me, it is showing up. Thank you for being here today. Corey and Travis Mumphrey, thank you so much. We're here at Moe's Pizza, where Italians do it better here at Westwego. When we come back, 2 more great Ehret athletes. We'll be right back. This is PRI.